Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. I am coming to you live from Sprague Field in Wellesley, Massachusetts. Here to bring you live coverage of today's high school varsity baseball contest between the hosting Raiders of Wellesley High School and the visiting Brookline High Warriors. This is a big one here today, folks. Brookline coming into this with a record of 9-6, just one win away from an automatic postseason berth. It was around this time last year when Brookline, with a 9-8 record, just squeaked out a 5-4 win here at Sprague against Wellesley to clinch their first playoff berth since 2019, and they're trying to make it a sequel here today and clinch a playoff berth. Today I am here alongside my color commentator, Brookline High sophomore Nico Wise. And Nico, it doesn't get much more exciting than a chance at the playoffs now, does it?
Well, totally, Jesse. This should definitely be a fun one. And like you said, Brookline coming into this one with just one more win needed to clinch a playoff spot. But they would like to get higher seed, as last year they had to face BC in the first round. But riding a 3-game win streak, Jesse, with 9-6 record, as they take on Wellesley, who they beat earlier in the year 5-4 off a walk-off single that sent Owen Hoffman home. And Jesse, we know this team is a strong team, the Wellesley Raiders, but we know, and we've seen early in the year, Brookline's ability to beat it. And we saw how right after that Wellesley they came back right after the loss, and they went on an incredible run. 42 runs for, 6 against, and just an unbelievable for Wellesley, but they've cooled down since then. And we know how strong Wellesley's pitching can be, but we also know how strong Brookline's pitching can be with Q Miller, Nico Rabiner, Eli Hoffman, all of these strong young core for Brookline here. And we've seen from Brookline sometimes they've struggled, and a lot of that has come down to the fact that they just haven't been able to get hot early. Jesse, you and I have talked about how sometimes on the offense and defensive side, it's taken Brookline a little time to settle into the game, and how sometimes those mistakes just kill them early and they're not able to come back. So I think if Brookline wants a chance to clinch a playoff spot and get a much, much big win here for Brookline, they're going to need to start off early and start off hot, because we know how much of a threat this Wellesley team could be on the offense and pitching side of the ball.
Absolutely, Nico. Like you said, last time these two faced off in Brookline back in April, Brookline got the 5-4 win on a walk-off single hit by Owen Hoffman as he drove in Jonathan Mazzara on that play. This time he's actually making his first appearance back since that game in Weymouth where he suffered a concussion. He's just playing in the field today. No spot in the starting batting order, but he's playing in left field. Certainly happy to see that. And we're certainly happy to see this game getting started soon. We're starting a little bit later. Brookline was a little late to arrive, so we'll be getting this one started in just a second. But first, I want to make sure we thank our local sponsor for today, Esch Dental. You can see their logo right there in the bottom middle of your screen. Esch Dental, located right in Coolidge Corner. You can book your next dental appointment with local dentist and BHS baseball parent, Dr. Brandon Esch, for the non-corporate personalized dentistry our community deserves. Call 617-566-0103 or go online to eschdental.com to find out more and book your appointment. Once again, 617-566-0103 or go online to easchdental.com. You can find that link and phone number in the description section down below. Also in the description section, you can find a link where you can donate to the Brookline High Baseball Booster Club if you would like to support this team financially. And you can also find a link and phone number for our local charity spotlight for today, the Brookline Food Pantry. The Brookline Food Pantry provides groceries to Brookline residents in need of food assistance. The pantry has been serving an average of 650 households each week, and they are always looking for more people willing to lend a hand, whether that be through monetary donations, direct food donations, or volunteers in the pantry. Food donations can be made at United Parish at 210 Harvard Street in Coolidge Corner on Wednesdays and Fridays from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Monetary donations can be made online at the Food Pantry's website, brooklinefoodpantry.org. Go online or call 617-800-5339 for more information about how you can volunteer with the pantry and help feed your community. Once again, that's brooklinefoodpantry.org or call 617-800-5339. And again, all of those links and phone numbers I just told you about, all in the description section down below. We'll be reminding you about those throughout this broadcast, but we got some baseball now on the horizon. Just 1 second, folks. Pardon me there. Nico, we talked about it before the game that after all the mix of rain and sun we've had, the pollen has just been brutal here in this spring, and we are deep in the throes of spring here. But happy to see some folks already chipping in the live chat here today. We got Ellen and Alan Rosenblatt over in Lenox, Massachusetts saying, we need one more. Go Adam and go Brookline. And then we've got Leah Cronenberg tuning in all the way from Italy saying, go Warriors. Thank you all for tuning in so much. I appreciate you tuning in early in the morning over there with the time change there, Leah. Hope it's going to be a good one here today. Now, we're getting ready for the top of the first. Wellesley doing their warm-ups here, so we'll go through their starting lineup really quick for Wellesley. Wellesley coming in with a 10-5 win-loss record. The most recent MIAA power rankings came out Tuesday morning. They were ranked 9th in those power rankings. Very strong team. Leading off for them today, the second baseman, number 2, Will Zalosh. Batting second, the left fielder, number 6, Dylan Crean. Batting third, the catcher, number 22, Cam Lynch. Batting cleanup, the third baseman, number 3, Chase Murphy. Batting fifth, the right fielder, number 18, Will Webster. Batting sixth and warming up on the mound there, number 14, Max Boehm. Batting seventh, the center fielder, number 10, Jack O'Grady. Batting eighth, the shortstop, number 1, Will Goggin. And batting ninth, the first baseman, number 21, Cole DeFina. That's the roster for Wellesley. Now let's go over for the starting lineup for Brookline. Brookline coming in with a record of 9-6, like we've said. They were ranked 29th in the most recent power rankings coming out yesterday morning. Leading off for Brookline today, the third baseman, number 9, Elias Brendel. Batting second, the second baseman, number 2, Hugh Bollinger. Batting third, the catcher, number 8, Felix Hom. Batting cleanup, the shortstop, number 5, Jimmy DiPaolo. Batting fifth, the first baseman, number 18, Adam Rosenblatt. Batting sixth, the designated hitter, number 1, Lincoln Hafner. Batting seventh and starting on the mound for Brookline, number 4, Eli Hoffman. Batting eighth, the right fielder, number 19, Wally Lawrence. Batting ninth, the center fielder, number 3, Devin Shin. And just playing the field, the left fielder, number 15, Owen Hoffman. Those are our starting lineups for today, and Elias Brendel stepping into the box. First pitch of the game, and Brendel lifts one deep out to center. It's going back, but it's tracked out in center field, caught by Jack O'Grady. A quick one pitch out.
Well, O'Grady did a good job there, Jesse. You and I talked about prior to this delay, the sun was really out, and we thought that might be a factor here, but definitely we saw there with the sun and the clouds happening, he did a great job tracking that one.
Another one-pitch swing. It's a grounder up the third base line. Picked up long. Throw to first is made by Murphy as Hugh Bollinger grounds out 2 pitches, 2 outs. A very efficient start for Max Boehm.
Yeah, definitely. Brookline trying to start off on the offensive side of the ball, trying to play aggressive here, but 2 quick outs early. Not the best start here for Brookline.
Now we're finally going to have an at-bat last more than 1 pitch as stepping in for Brookline and taking strike 1, the catcher, number 8, Felix Hom. Excuse me. Oh, the pollen. Hom makes it 2 pitches as that's a one-hopper to short. It's juggled by Goggin. Long throw to first. And he beats it out. Hom going to reach on what will probably be ruled an E6 there as Brookline able to stay alive in this inning. We'll have a courtesy runner coming in for Hom. I believe that's number 6, Rasik Y. Carr. Step into the plate for Brookline, the shortstop, number 5, Jimmy DiPaolo.
Jimmy DiPaolo, last time these two teams played earlier this year, was 1 for 4. He did have a run, though, but Jesse, we both know how much of an impact player Jimmy DiPaolo can be on the offense and defensive side of the ball here.
First pitch, he's going to take it low for ball 1. That's actually the first ball that Max Boehm has thrown so far today. It's been 4 straight strikes before that ball, and Already 2 outs and a runner on. DePaulo reaches, hits a dribbler up the first base side, picked up by Defina, flipped to Boehm, who was covering first well, and a 3-1 ground out is going to end the inning in just 6 pitches.
Yeah, some great teamwork there to end the inning there for Wellesley, but definitely, Jesse, a hot start for Wellesley on the defensive side of the ball. They got out of that inning very quickly, and for Brookline, we talked about needing them to start off hot early and getting some early runs, as we know how much of a threat this Wellesley team can be. But that's not the best start here. But this Brookline team, we know how powerful they can be, so they just need to calm themselves down and try and get some runs next time they're up.
We switch sides here for the bottom of the first inning. Now warming up on the mound for Brookline, number 4, Eli Hoffman. You can see his stats for the season so far there on your screen. He's made 4 previous starting appearances. He's got a win-loss record of 1-1, 16 innings pitched, a 4.38 ERA, as he's had his ups and his downs in terms of runs allowed, a whip of 1.44, and 21 strikeouts. And the pressure is going to be on if Max Boehm keeps pitching as efficiently as he does, because that'll mean Hoffman won't have as long of a break between innings, and high-stakes game for this first-year varsity player to be pitching, and we'll see how he handles it.
Well, Jesse, talk about a game for Hoffman to prove himself. Both sophomore pitchers, Q Miller had that amazing performance against Braintree, and we've just seen throughout this whole year how much of a threat Nico Rabiner has been. So this is Eli Hoffman's time. This is the time that Brookline can clinch a playoff berth. And although Eli Hoffman has had his ups and downs, he's shown some bright spots, and he's going to need to prove it here. This is a great spot for him to be in, and I think this is definitely a great character-building moment here for Eli Hoffman. He's got to show it early.
All right, leading off for Wellesley here in the bottom of the second, the second baseman, number 2, Will Zalosh. Fun little coincidence here. Both teams have their second baseman wearing number 2 today. I just think that's funny. I'm a dork like that. Zalosh, a lefty hitter, stepping in against the southpaw Hoffman. First pitch is going to be a high ball 1. Zalosh had a pretty good game against Brookline last time, didn't he, Nico?
Yeah, totally, Jesse. He was 2 for 3. He had a stolen base, 2 runs, and an RBI, so definitely want to...
As he hits a bouncer over to second, fielded by the other second baseman wearing number 2, as Hugh Bollinger makes the throw to first, and they retire Zalosh pretty efficiently. Another quick out. We have yet to see a single batter go more than 2 pitches in an at-bat. We'll see if this next one will break that pattern as the left fielder, number 6, Dylan Crean, steps to the box.
Yeah, Dylan Crean, 1 for 3 last time these two teams met earlier this year. Did have an RBI, though.
He's going to take a low ball 1 there from Hoffman. That one hits the zone. Hoffman working that fastball early.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen throughout this season, that's one of his pitches that Eli Hoffman really likes. Seems to be working it in early here. Working for him so far.
That one gets away from him, drops low, ball 2. You know, Nico, you mentioned the importance of the offense finding their rhythm early. Just as important, if not more so, for the guy on the mound to find his rhythm and not, let the game get out of hand too fast. As Hoffman appears to be delivering pretty well, he gets strike 2 there.
Well, just kind of adding on to what you said, Jesse, yeah, we've seen throughout this season sometimes, especially these younger pitchers, Miller and Rabiner, sometimes they've had a tough first couple innings, letting up a bunch of runs, and then they finally find their rhythm. So Hoffman is going to try and do that here and find his rhythm early.
seems to be struggling a bit finding that low part of the zone as he spikes that one in the dirt for ball 3. We got a full count to Dylan Crean. I wondered if we were going to have an at-bat last more than a couple pitches, and this one is going all the way to a full count. And this one is grounded foul up the first base side as we got ourselves a battle for this at-bat.
Well, totally. We saw Wellesley was able to get out of their inning pretty early, but Crean is staying alive early.
Crean has faced as many pitches in this at-bat as Brookline faced all inning in the top half of this first inning. And he's going to draw ball 4. Again, that low pitch getting away from Hoffman a lot early as he gives up the 1-out walk.
Yeah, Hoffman, we've seen the idea there, trying to find the bottom. But last couple pitches, it's just been a little too low as he'll walk Crean.
And he spikes another one in the dirt there for ball 1. At the plate for Wellesley now, the catcher, number 22, Cam Lynch.
Yeah, Lynch had a pretty solid day. Last time these two teams played, he was 2 for 3. Had a walk, a double.
And he takes strike 1 there, 1-1 the count. Runner at first, 1 out. Hits a hard bouncer over to shortstop, DePaulo, to Bollinger, to Rosenblatt, and the 6-4-3 double play will end the inning.
Definitely, that's what Brookline needed there. Didn't want to let anybody in scoring position already. And the nice heads-up play from DePaulo and Bollinger to Rosenblatt ends the inning for Brookline, or ends the inning for Wellesley.
The Brookline defense.
Yes,
ends,
Brookline defense.
Yeah. No, ending the inning for either team would have worked phrase-wise, but I understand. I understand what you're trying to say, man. I got you. End of 1, no score here as both teams get through things pretty quickly. I mean, Eli Hoffman only faced 3 batters, and while Boehm faced 1 more batter than Hoffman did, he got through it in just 6 pitches. So both pitchers working pretty efficiently to start. You know, we only saw really 1 at-bat go that long, and that was Crean in the bottom half of the inning. So we'll see how the Brookline offense responds here. It'll be the 5, 6, 7 hitters here: Rosenblatt, Hafner, and Hoffman. And we'll see if Boehm continues to attack things as efficiently as he has so far. I mean, one of the things, we only saw him throw like, 1, maybe 2 balls that whole inning?
Yeah, definitely quite the efficient pitcher we're seeing so far, Jesse, and that's going to work in their favor very well, as he's going to be able to last a lot longer than if Brookline was staying alive and not allowing him to end innings quickly. But we'll see if this Brookline offense can flip the script a little bit.
Leading off, here is the first baseman, number 18, Adam Rosenblatt, and he takes a ball outside.
Yeah, Rosenblatt did not play in their earlier matchup this season.
Checks his swing there, but maybe shouldn't have as Boehm hits the zone. And yeah, Rosenblatt took a little while to start playing games, but once he did, he's really found himself an impact. As you can see, his season stats on the bottom of your screen as he lines one, but it's right at Will Goggin, the shortstop, for out number 1.
Yeah, right place, right time there. Able to grab that one.
Yeah, right place, right time for Will Goggin. Right contact, wrong place for Adam Rosenblatt. Now stepping to the plate, the designated hitter, number 1, Lincoln Hafner, as he takes strike 1. Hafner on Monday tied for the team lead by hitting his 3rd double, but this time he hits a 1-hopper over to Goggin. The throw is missed, and it's going to go, no, it goes off the fence on the first base side. So it's prevented from going out of play a few inches to the left, and that ball was going to bounce out of play and allow Hafner to take second, but he is just going to take first on the E6.
Well, the first game for Brookline, Jesse, Lincoln Hafner had a stellar performance. And beside that, he really cooled off up until their previous game on Monday, where he really had some of those flashes again. And we've seen how much of an impact player he can be in those 2 games where he really made an impact. Starting off early here.
Now with a runner at first and 1 down, it's pitcher against pitcher as number 4 Eli Hoffman steps in for Brookline. He takes strike 1 on the first pitch, chases that one low for strike 2. Boehm has got a dangerous breaking ball. We were watching some clips on social media before this game showing what he's able to do with a pitch that can really just drop right off the table on you, as that one does. Oh, it hit him! That one, I think, bounced off Hoffman's foot or something, and so we go from an 0-2 count to 2 runners on as Eli Hoffman draws his team-leading 4th hit-by pitch of the season.
Yeah, Boehm was working for him early, but that one just a little low, and Jesse, it really just bounced off his left foot. And with a man on first and second in scoring position now, big opportunity for Brookline here to try and take the lead early and strike first.
And fouling off that first pitch for strike 1, it's the right fielder. He's wearing number 19 today because he grabbed the wrong jersey. It's Wally Lawrence, hoping he can make an impact here with 2 runners on as he checks his swing there, and that one almost signaled a strike because I think the ump expected him to swing there. But no, that one was ball 1, so it's a 1-1 count. Lawrence still searching for just his second base hit of the season so far, as he missed a chunk of the year to a rib injury. 1-2 count now. But as you can see, he's so far 1 for 12 with a walk, a hit by pitch, and 3 runs scored. Checks his swing there, high ball 2.
Well, Jesse, the stats might not show it, but Wally Lawrence is definitely a core member in this Brookline team. Such a factor. A junior here. Just got named soccer captain for the varsity for Brookline.
And he hits a bouncer over to second, and it's too slow for a double play, and so it just ends up working out as almost an unintentional sacrifice as he moves both runners into scoring position. It is second and third with 2 down now, as up comes the center fielder, number 3, Devin Chin. And Chin had a very nice day on Monday against Milton. Couple of RBI singles, including an infield one. So we know he's got the ability to go for a potential squeeze play in these kinds of situations, but there he takes strike 1.
Yeah, Jesse, we talk about the speedster Devin Chin, just the fact the plays he's able to make.
But can't make a play that time. He was thinking that low pitch might be able to slap it on the ground, but catches air, strike 2.
Yeah, big moment here for Chin, 0-2 count with 2 outs.
And he takes a high fastball, ball 1. Well tracked by the catcher, Cam Lynch. Anything gets by him, and it's a big chance for Hafner to come in for the game's first run. Brookline trying to strike first here. Just high, good eye by Chin. Gutting it out here in a big situation early. 2-2 the count. 2 down in the top of the second. Runners at second and third. Scoreless ball game. And it's another high fastball for ball 3 as Chin has battled his way from 0-2 to a full count.
Well, Jesse, we talked about earlier how Boehm is just, his pitching is just so amazing here for Wellesley and been such a factor.
But he misses on that one. The breaking ball just a bit outside as Devin Chin works his way to a walk. And now the co-captain and possibly the most powerful hitter on Brookline's roster, who's already got 1 home run and 1 triple this season, stepping in. It's Elias Brendel.
We'll talk about a time, Jesse, to get his second, but
also could bring in a run if he adds to his team-leading walk count as he takes an inside ball 1 there.
Yeah, Elias Brendel, we've seen throughout this season the vision he's had.
As he takes ball 2 to the outside. And now Cam Lynch coming out to talk to Boehm, just settle him in as he is thrown 6 straight balls outside of the strike zone. Went from an 0-2 count against Chin, missed 4 times to load the bases on the walk, and has now missed his first 2 pitches against Brendel. And Brendel's not really going to give you anything. You got to throw strikes if you want to get this kid out. Brendel fouls that one off for strike 1. His first time up, Brendel hit a fly out to deep straightaway center field. If he could send a similar shot more to the right or the left, could hit the gap for a big play. That one does catch the inside corner, strike 2. Brendel thought he was going to get ball 3, but now back to the wall with 2 strikes.
Yeah, Bowen painted that side corner. Talked about the vision, but a little off there. Big scenario here for Brookline, but a big scenario for Boehm if he wants to close something out here and not allow anything.
2-2, 2 down, bases juiced here in the top of the second, no score. Boehm versus Brendel, and he fouls it to stay alive.
Barely connected on the bat there, but Brendel will stay alive.
Teeth-clenching moment here in just the second inning of this game. Another 2-2 pitch. And that one hits the zone, catches Brendel looking on the off-speed pitch there. And he escapes the jam. Still no score as we head to the bottom of the second.
Well, it was a little cold, as you said, throwing 6 straight balls, but took some time to rethink about it, and he controlled himself there, got out of that inning perfectly with bases loaded.
Didn't throw another ball the rest of the way. He threw, 4 straight strikes because one of them was fouled off. So after 6 straight balls, after a meeting with his catcher, you know, it seems like that meeting really worked well to just recenter him and refocus him and get back to throwing strikes. So Brookline threatens but cannot score in the top of the second. Eli Hoffman back out on the bump for the bottom of the second. He'll face the 4, 5, 6 hitters for Wellesley, Murphy, Webster, and Boehm, as we'll have another pitcher against pitcher battle here in the bottom half. We got a note in the live chat from Greg Hoffman saying, "Let's go Brookline," cheering on both of his sons out in the field today. Eli Hoffman starting on the hill, obviously. And then, of course, as we mentioned, Owen Hoffman, his first game back since suffering a concussion after he took a ground ball off a bad hop to the face in Weymouth a couple weeks back. Happy to see him back and looking good. Even if it's just playing in the field, it's just nice to see him back.
Well, totally, Jesse, and you and I were at that game, and in baseball, you never want to see that happen, especially now with young sports. Anything to the head is so you got to be cautious, use all the procedures needed, and Brookline getting him out when he's ready and putting him out in the outfield, like you said, at least having him out there, being that veteran presence that he is to this Brookline team. It's just so nice to see him back out there.
Now we start the bottom of the second, leading off for Wellesley, the third baseman, number 3, Chase Murphy. First pitch, that one's going to miss just outside, ball 1.
Yeah, in their game earlier in the season, Chase Murphy was actually the designated hitter, but Wellesley does not have him there today. He was 1 for 3 with a hit by pitch and an RBI.
Yeah, they last game they had Boehm at third, and so now with him on the hill, they've put Murphy over at the hot corner, currently facing a 2-0 count. That one just hits the high corner. Strike 1. I think Wellesley didn't like that strike call on that one. 2-1. Now the count to Murphy.
Yeah, what Hoffman did right there was what Boehm was trying to do earlier last inning. All of them went for a ball, though, until he settled back in after that meeting. But Hoffman Big scenario here. Doesn't want to walk anyone to start it off. 3-1 count here.
3-1, and here's the pitch. And that one is going to miss high and away. And it'll be a leadoff walk for Chase Murphy. Second walk of the day so far for Hoffman. Leadoff runner on as up comes the right fielder, number 18, Will Webster.
Yeah, Murphy did a great job there. Almost like what we've seen throughout the season Elias Brendel does. Vision was there, and a controversial strike, I think. Could have been called as a fourth ball. But just like that, Wellesley will have a man on first.
And Webster taking a low ball one there. As Hoffman struggling to find the zone here in the bottom of the second. That one hits the zone though, strike one.
Yeah, Webster 0 for 2 last time these two teams played.
That's a high ball too, and one thing to keep an eye on, Hoffman, a lefty pitcher, so he's got that quick throw over to first for any runners that are on there. Murphy currently standing at first base with nobody out here in the bottom of the second. As that one comes in high for ball three, and I mean, when the pitcher is struggling with control like this, you don't necessarily need to apply that much pressure on the base paths. If you're just going to move along on free passes, Hoffman has to find the zone.
Well, definitely here we saw what happened to Boehm. He throws 6 straight balls. So Hoffman's just going to need to settle down a little bit. We talked about getting into his rhythm. He's got to do that.
Draws a foul ball there out of play for strike two. Full count now to Webster. Runner goes, and it's a low ball 4. Back-to-back walks from Hoffman, and that's a rough start, and that is going to draw a mound visit from head coach Brendan O'Connor. Definitely a good spot to do that here. You want your guy to just, again, like we saw with Boehm, just recenter himself, right?
Yeah, I mean, we saw right after he was incredible. Had the strikes, got out of that inning. And Hoffman's just got to do the same thing here, just get back into his rhythm. We saw earlier in this game he was able to do that, but then kind of cooled down a little bit. Just was throwing those balls, 2 walks. So he's just got to settle down here. Felix Hom encouraging.
And it'll be a matchup with his counterpart, the Wellesley pitcher, number 14, Max Boehm. Step into the box here with 2 runners on and nobody out. Brookline was able to put together a bit of a rally in the top half, and now Wellesley trying to rally here in the bottom half.
Yeah, Boehm was not pitching last time these two teams played. Was playing third base, and he went 1 for 4.
Hoffman spiked that first pitch in the dirt. Boehm was showing bunt, trying for a sacrifice. Still showing bunt, as that one is going to miss to the outside. Hoffman trying to see if he can draw a bad bunt from Boehm here, but so far just missing the zone. 2-0 the count. He goes for a swing and lifts it out to left. Diving catch was not made. It was dropped by Hoffman, but he turns around, picks it up, throws down to third to get the force play on the lead runner. The rare 7-5 fielder's choice, and what a heads-up play by Hoffman. Didn't make the highlight-worthy catch, but the presence of mind to recover from that, pop back up, grab the ball, and immediately rifle it to third to get one out.
We'll talk about it, what it means to have him back. Jesse showing right there, like you said, didn't make the highlight play, but just a great heads-up play, grabbing the ball and throwing it to third to Brendel, who made a solid catch.
Not often you're going to pencil in a 7-5 fielder's choice on a play, but that is what that will technically go down as for Boehm. as with the bases empty, that probably would have gone down as a single. Now O'Grady lifting one out to right. Lawrence has got it. Runner taking off for third, and they're not going to contest it, as that'll be the second out. Jack O'Grady, the center fielder, number 10, flying out, but he does move Murphy up to third. With 2 down here in the inning, we got runners at the corners with 2 down, as up comes the shortstop, number 1, Will Goggin.
While the bases aren't loaded here, Jesse, same scenario like Boehm, can get out of this inning here with 2 outs.
And, oh, they called a balk on Hoffman. They called a balk. The runners will advance. And without a pitch even being thrown to Goggin, Wellesley is going to take the lead as Webster comes home on a balk.
Yeah, didn't have to do anything there for Wellesley, as they'll have another man in scoring position, but Wellesley will strike first here.
Two down, runner at second. Goggin at the plate takes strike 1. No courtesy runner for Boehm was one interesting thing to note. A lot of times you'll have the pitcher be replaced by a courtesy runner when he gets on base. I don't think we saw that for either Hoffman or Boehm as a pickoff throw. Oh, so close, but just barely. Boehm gets back in time.
Yeah, Bollinger really wanted that. You could see him asking for it, but didn't get it there. So Hoffman really going to have to deliver here, Jesse, with an 0-1 count.
And he gets a grounder over to short, picked up by DiPaolo. Throw to first is snagged right around the grass by Rosenblatt. That one looked scary for a second, but Brookline does complete the play and get out of the inning. But we've got our first run on the board, courtesy of a balk, as at the end of 2, our score, Wellesley 1, Brookline 0. And during this break between the second and third inning, I'd like to take a moment to once again thank our sponsor for today, Esch Dental. Do you have a tooth that just doesn't look right in photos, too far out, too far back, maybe one that prevents you from showing that smile at all? The team at Esch Dental has everything you need to get that smile perfectly aligned. Their average Invisalign case lasts about 9 months, and the treatment is practically invisible compared to metal braces. Adults and teens alike get their teeth straightened and their bites aligned with Esch Dental. Call 617-566-0103 or go online to eschdental.com to find out more and book your appointment. Once again, 617-566-0103 or go online to easchdental.com. That link and phone number and plenty more information down in the description section down below. And so Brookline, with the 2, 3, 4 hitters due up, will be trying to respond as they now trail.
Yeah, definitely a big part here for Brookline. We talked about getting in their rhythm, and this is the inning where you really need it here, Jesse. First inning, was a little lackluster, and then the second inning you had bases loaded, and Jesse, that was your chance right there. You're probably not going to get another chance like that again this game, and you have to convert there. I know there was 2 outs, but you really got to get something there, even if it was something just to get 1 runner home. They weren't able to convert here, and now they find themselves down 1, but this is the situation that they've put themselves in, so they've got to find something.
And what they find,
does.
Indeed, he finds it with a leadoff single to left center, as Brookline puts a runner on the bases. Bollinger grounded out to third his last time up, but now gets a single, and he stands at first as up comes the catcher, number 8, Felix Hom. Hom reached on an E6 his last time up. And he lifts a blooper. That's up the middle, past the middle infielders. Back-to-back base hits for Brookline. And Nico, I know you said it's rare to get a bunch of runners on, but Brookline starting out this inning pretty hot.
Well, definitely. I mean, after their first inning where they kind of a little lackluster. Second inning, they had bases loaded, and now you have a man on first and second back to back. Good
And
start here for Brookline. They got to
absolutely.
convert this time, Jesse.
Absolutely. And what's also interesting, those were the first base hits today for Brookline, as Brookline previously had 2 reach-on errors and a hit by pitch and a walk to account for their base runners. But now back-to-back base hits, and stepping in, the shortstop number 5, Jimmy DiPaolo. Oh, they caught Bollinger on the pickoff move as Murphy is going to tag him, and he didn't need to take off there. Nobody was covering second. But Bollinger got completely fooled.
Yeah, I mean, Jesse, as you said, he just got fooled right there. And good heads-up play to put it out to third, and Murphy was right there.
So now no runners in scoring position and 1 out as Jimmy DiPaolo fouls off that one to the right field side for strike 1. And that's tough. It was just a slick move by Boehm, and Bollinger, he got caught with his body weight leaning the wrong way. And in that situation, you're taught to, just take off because you're not going to be able to get back to the base. But with neither the shortstop nor the second baseman covering second in that situation, Bollinger, he could have gotten back. He just didn't have time to look behind him and realize that he had the base wide open to retreat back to. DiPaolo hits a bouncer over to short, juggled by Goggin. Throw to second is in time for the fielder's choice. Not able to turn 2, but they get to the lead runner and the second out.
Well, yeah, I mean, perfect spot. They basically just replaced it in return for an out, as Wasik Raikar was going to second, but out there. DiPaolo's now on first here.
Now stepping in, the first baseman, number 18, Adam Rosenblatt.
Yeah, Rosenblatt really been an up-and-coming, at least so far. He's been playing very well for Brookline. Stepped up big. See if he's able to help Brookline out here. The man on first, but 2 outs here. They had a great start with back-to-back base hits, getting on first and second, but now kind of giving that all up.
Tips that one, and it'll be a 1-2 count to Rosenblatt. Rosenblatt lined out to short his last time up. Came into this game leading Brookline in all slash line categories, batting average, on-base percentage, and slugging. But Brookline would certainly like to see another hit here, but he won't get it as he chases the high inside fastball for strike 3.
Well, back-to-back, Boehm just put in a scenario where they'd like to have him get a strikeout, and that's what he does right there. A little high, but Rosenblatt still reaches on that to end the inning. And now Hoffman's really got to step up here as they allowed 1 run last inning. But Hoffman played a little better, I'd say, Jesse, honestly. He had a lot of those back-to-back walks, but he was getting more of those strikes as we reached later into that inning, and he's just got to keep it up here. Really just, as we've said, Jesse, just find his rhythm.
Hoffman has given up 3 walks through his first 2 innings of work, but got the last 3 batters that he faced out, gave up a run on a balk. Very rare situation there. You think if not for that balk, we'd still be scoreless here in this game. But we'll see how he handles things here as he gets started. He'll get started with his second turn through the batting order, as he'll be facing the 9-1-2 hitters, Defina, Zalosh, and Krian. So far, Boehm has handled his second turn through the Brookline order well enough. Like you said, Nico, a tough start for him in the top of the third, giving up back-to-back base hits, but really able to rediscover the momentum himself with that big pickoff play. As, without that, the fielder's choice grounder would have put runners at the corners with 1 out instead of just a runner at first with 2 outs, just the biggest difference that play was.
Well, showing Jesse why he's their number one.
Now we start the bottom of the third, leading off the first baseman, number 21, Cole Defina, as he takes a low ball 1. Defina, the last time against Brookline, did not see the plate, but did come in as a relief pitcher, gave up the walk-off single to Owen Hoffman in the loss to Brookline, and now he playing at first this time. He's facing a 1-1 count.
Yeah, Hoffman's just struggling a bit, Jesse. Just a lot of his pitches has just been a little low or a little high.
Well, that low one draws a slow roller to second, picked up by Bollinger and flipped to first for out number 1. Yeah, it is interesting, Nico. There are times when Hoffman is missing, it seems like he's really out of control, but then, you know, when he's got his pitches going, he's containing things pretty well so far. Has yet to give up a base hit through his first 2 1/3, as now he'll start his second his second turn through the batting order, as up comes the second baseman, number 2, Will Zalosh. Shows bunt, but whiffs on it.
Yeah, Zalosh, as we've said before, had a very nice day last time these two teams played. He was 2 for 3 with the stolen, 2 runs and an RBI, so definitely big timer for Wellesley.
Hits a 1 hopper to third, and it's fielded well by Elias Brendel for out number 2. Go ahead.
Well, Jesse, I mean, we've seen so far this season, at least when those two were playing there, Elias Brendel and Rosenblatt have had quite the connection, Jesse. A lot of those times where they've needed to make a throw first to third or third to first, they've really had a really nice connection and showing there.
That first pitch in there for strike 1 to the left fielder, number 6, Dylan Crean. Crean drew a walk his last time up, 1 of 3 that Hoffman's allowed, but he's trying to put Wellesley down in order here in the bottom of the third. Not on that pitch, though, as he spikes that one for ball 1.
Yeah, Jesse, I mean, we've talked about it, but just a little out of control, so Hoffman's really just got to find his rhythm, as we've been saying, find his rhythm, find his momentum.
And the umpire coming out briefly to speak with Hoffman, while Brookline coach Brendan O'Connor checking on Felix Hamm.
Yeah, give some credit to Felix Hamm, though. Even though a lot of these balls have been a little low, he's done a good job, Felix Hamm, controlling them and not allowing anything to go past him. So give some credit to him, Jesse.
1-1 currently the count. And he chases that one low, strike 2. That feels like what Hoffman's been looking for with all of these low pitches, getting a guy to chase, and he did it there.
Well, definitely, Jesse. I mean, that's been his intent, and finally it works for him. So he's just got to keep up this momentum here with a 1-2 count here. This would be a great spot for him to have a little confidence boost here.
And that one fouled off, stays alive. Yeah, Hoffman, it looks like he's got this like strong overhand delivery, so a lot of his pitches tend to have a sinking trajectory, and you know, give credit, it's drawn a number of ground balls so far. 1-2 the count, 2 down, base is empty. That one hangs on him, ball 2. Right as I talked about the low trajectory, he sends in a floater. He's trying to make me look dumb here, Nico.
Just released that one a little too early. As he'll have a chance and the inning here. This would be big here for Eli Hoffman.
Draws a high hopper, chased down in the gap by Brendel, throw to first in time. Elias Brendel, we know he can play just about anywhere in the field, and he shows that glove once again for a second straight 5-3 ground out as Hoffman puts him down in order to end the third.
Well, like I was talking about earlier, Jesse, nice heads-up play from Elias Brendel shifting out and finding Rosenblatt to end that inning. Just another moment showing their connection together. But now, Jesse, as this Brookline offense steps back up, they're going to need something pretty big here. Last 2 innings, they've had the chances. They've been gifted it almost, you could say. Bases loaded in the second, and then in the third, they had a man on first and second, and they've just blown it. They came out with nothing, Jesse. They still have it's still 1-0 for Wellesley, so this is a moment here. You can't keep giving up these chances. I mean, we talked about it. When they had bases loaded, we said they might not get a chance like this again this game, and then back-to-back walks, and you were like, oh.
Singles,
excuse me. And you thought, hey, they're in the scenario again. There's no way they can blow it, and they did.
Yeah, Max Boehm has been handling these jams very well the past couple innings. Almost kind of stopped that second rally in its tracks before it could even get going with that pickoff move at second. We'll see how he handles things here as we're already in the top of the fourth, almost halfway through this game, and what's turning into another pitcher's duel. We seem to be covering a lot of those, Nico, as stepping in the designated hitter number 1, Lincoln Hafner.
Talked about for Hafner, he's had his hot games and his low games. Sorry, hot and cool games, excuse me. He had the single earlier this game. Just got to keep it up because he's shown his flashes, Jesse, of how much of a threat he can be for Brookline here. So he's just got to keep it up. These past 2 games, he's looked like he did in that first game we saw him play earlier in the season.
And that one bounces off of the bag, and it stays fair. Lincoln Hafner runs down to first. He reached on an E6 the first time up, but this time that's a clean single as he sent that one perfectly up the third base line, rolling just just inside fair territory there, as it took a weird hop. And they're going to take a quick look at Murphy. As I'm not sure if the ball grazed him or if he just took a hard fall in the dirt when diving for that one. It looks like his nose might be bleeding as they're considering taking him out, but it looks like he's going to try and stick this one out. Seems like it might be just a small amount of blood. Hopefully the young man is okay.
Yeah, Jesse, so I believe what happened there is as he was diving for that, a great effort, his nose might have just spiked the ground as he was making a nice diving effort, wasn't able to get there.
And it looks like he is going to stick this one out. You know, just a scratch. 'Tis just a flesh wound. And so, with the runner at first, nobody out, up comes the pitcher, number 4, Eli Hoffman. Hoffman was hit by a pitch his last time up as Boehm tries the pickoff throw to first, but Hafner dives back safe. Hoffman hoping he can add to his own cause here. Shows bunt, but whiffs on it. Pickoff throw to first, and Hafner does get back.
Yeah, Hafner just able to get there, but
yeah, it's
so close there.
It's a tough thing when you go for a bunt. If you miss, you kind of leave your runner stranded, as Hoffman is going to foul that one off, and the bunt strategy fails, as that is strike 2. And so Hoffman will have to swing away here. A foul bunt would mean a strikeout.
Yeah, this would be nice here for Hoffman, although he's not pitching right now. It would be nice.
He hits a grounder to third. Murphy fields it, throws to second for 1, on to first, not in time for the double play. But they do get the fielder's choice. Chase Murphy, after face planting in the dirt on the diving attempt, showing he is looking just fine over at the hot corner as he makes the play there.
Well, I mean, Jesse, we saw this earlier. Boehm did not come off, and Hoffman will stay out there at first.
Indeed, no courtesy runner for either pitcher today, as now stepping up for Brookline, the right fielder, number 19, Wally Lawrence. He takes strike 1 there. Lawrence, his last time up, grounded out to second, did move the runners along with that ground out, but you know he'd prefer to get a hit in this situation as he lifts that one foul out into the trees on the right field side.
Well, Jesse, like we've mentioned before, just such an unfortunate start for the season for Wally Lawrence with the rib injury, but now that he's back, You know we'd love to get something rolling for him, as he's been a little cold since he's been back.
And it's going to stay cold for now as he takes strike 3 to the outside corner. Goes down on strikes, and that'll be 2 down as up comes the center fielder, number 3, Devin Chin. Chin, his last time up, drew a walk that loaded the bases, shows bunt, pulls back, and it's a wild pitch, and that's going to move Hoffman into scoring position. Trying to contain the bunt that time, trying to force a bad bunt, and ends up breezing it past his catcher. 1-0 the count, and an attempted pickoff throw, but Hoffman looking for it this time. He saw Bollinger get picked off last inning. He's not taking any chances there. 1-0 the count to Chin, runner at second, 2 down. Shows bunt and whiffs on it as Hoffman retreats back to back to second. Strike 1 to Chin. 1-1 the count.
Yeah, Jesse, and this would be big here for Brookline with a man in scoring position. But so far for Boehm, he's just been such a threat so far this game, Jesse, and we've seen he's had 2 full games that he's played this year, and both of them, it was a shutout for him, a 9-0 one against New and North. And looking like it right now, although Wellesley doesn't have the runs, we're seeing just how much of a threat he is for Wellesley, showing it right here. Although Brookline has been having a lot of chances, they just haven't been able to convert here. And with the man in scoring position, this is what you need right here, but not able to get it. As yet again, he'll end the inning.
Strike 3 called on Chin. Back-to-back Ks for Boehm as Brookline leaves a runner stranded in scoring position. We move to the bottom of the fourth, officially at the midway point here. Score Wellesley 1, Brookline 0.
Yeah, and Jesse here, this would be big here for Hoffman. Although it's only a 1-score game, we've seen how fast games can get out of hand here. And with your offense not having any runs yet, Eli Hoffman's really got to keep it up here. As there's only been 1 run against Brookline so far. He's got to keep it up right here. As we saw later in his last inning, those low breaking and fastballs were working for him, Jesse. As we've seen the innings prior, the attempt was there, just a lot of them were a little low for balls. And he was able to finally control them toward the end of that last inning and find his rhythm, which is what Brookline needs right now, as it's such a close game so far.
Coming up in the bottom of the fourth for Wellesley will be their 3, 4, 5 hitters, Lynch, Murphy, and Webster. Eli Hoffman back on the hill for his 4th inning of work. Just 1 run allowed on a balk so far. Had his best inning last inning in the 3rd, inducing 3 straight groundouts in the infield for a 1-2-3 inning. But with his offense still unable to produce, he is trying to find a spot. He's trying to keep his team in a position to come back. Stepping up now, the catcher, number 22, Cam Lynch, as he takes that one low around the feet for ball 1.
Well, Jesse, you and I talked about it, just kind of wrapping back to what you were saying, is that even though Eli Hoffman is finally finding his rhythm, the offense still hasn't found its rhythm, as they've had the chances, but they just haven't been able to convert.
This one a high ball 2, and Hoffman has got to be careful he doesn't lose that rhythm as he quickly falls behind here. And it's 3 straight misses, 3-0 the count now to Lynch.
Well, Wellesley, Jesse's done a great job here noticing some of these balls have gone out a little out of control for Hoffman, either a little too high or a little too low, just like right there.
That's going to be a little too low for a leadoff walk for Lynch. And that puts the leadoff runner aboard for Wellesley, as up comes the third baseman, number 3, Chase Murphy, as we're going to have a courtesy runner here for Lynch. That is number 5. Not entirely sure who that is, as only had names on the roster that I saw, not corresponding jersey numbers, so I'm just kind of taking the jersey numbers from last game. Hoffman checks on the courtesy runner there. Now faces Murphy. Fouled off, strike 1.
Yeah, Jesse, after taking that little bump to the nose, Chase Murphy looks to be all right. Definitely good for Wellesley.
Murphy, his last time up, drew a leadoff walk to start the second inning and was thrown out on that crazy fielder's choice on the almost diving catch made by Owen Hoffman, but instead was thrown out at third trying to tag up. This one low, it's juggled, thrown down to second, is not going to be in time, as we have the first stolen base of the day for either team as number 5 gets into scoring position.
Well, Jesse, we talked about the versatility of Hoffman being able to see first base there, unlike a lot of the other pitchers for Brookline.
Didn't quite work out on that one, though, as he misses that next pitch high and away for ball 2. 2-1 the count to Murphy, number 5 at second. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 4th. Wellesley trying to add to a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, with a man in scoring position, like you said, Hoffman's really just got to rein this in here with no outs.
And he's got to rein his pitches back into the strike zone as he misses that one high for ball 3. He's walked 4 so far today, trying not to make it 5 here with a 3-1 hitter's count to Murphy. That one curves into the zone, and it's full count.
Well, Jesse, I mean, that's what he's been looking for all day. And we've seen sometimes some flashes of it. And there it is right there. That's really what he's been trying to work all day. See if he can continue this, as this would be a big strikeout here with the full count here. And a man in scoring position here for Wellesley.
And he golfs that one into foul territory and out of play. Protecting the zone there, as that one looked like it was going to come in low for a possible ball 4, but Murphy protects the plate and stays alive. And this one, he gets jammed, hits a pop-up, and it's chased down by Bollinger. And so he doesn't get the strikeout, but he does get a big first out that does not move the runner.
Yeah, definitely. As Felix Holm will come up to talk to Hoffman, give some words of encouragement.
And he'll be facing the right fielder, Will Webster. Webster, the only player from either team who has scored so far today, as his last time up he drew a walk, moved all the way around the bases. On the fielder's choice by Boehm, he moved to second. On the fly out to right by O'Grady, he moved to third. And then on the balk by Hoffman, he came home. Now stepping up with a runner at second and 1 out. That one skips in the dirt, well blocked by Hom to hold the runner at second, 1-0.
Yeah, give credit to Hom. Even with the low pitches, he's done well to get there. Wellesley got to take advantage here, and they are just containing their
Oh,
swings.
the runner is going. Throw down to third, and Brendel had to lay out to grab it, but he does somehow apply the tag while lying flat on his belly there. He somehow makes the reach and connects with number 5's body there for a big second out get.
Well, just some desperation there. Like you said, he was on the ground, flung his arm behind him, and got it.
That whole play was absolutely crazy, as this one is going to be skied out to left. The older Hoffman brother tracking it and chases it down with the wind to make the catch for out number 3. But just briefly going back to that play where they caught the courtesy runner stealing, just how crazy that was. I think number 5 was expecting a wild pitch, but it was blocked well again by Hom. He hesitated, I think, then realized he was already halfway to third, so just decided to take off. Hom, realizing that the runner was going late, all of a sudden had to scramble when he wasn't in position to make a throw, made the best one he could. It was wide of the bag, and so Brendel had to dive for it and then make that crazy tag like you were talking about.
Well, totally, Jesse, and just big plays there from Brookline. As we've seen, they were put in a bad situation with a man in scoring position with 0 outs, but they managed to get out of the inning with no runs allowed. And this is, Jesse, this is where they need their offense to step up. Like we've said, you can't give up all of those big chances, big play chances that they had in the second and third.
During this break between the 4th and 5th innings, we'd like to once again thank our local sponsor, Esch Dental. Do you have a tooth that's been worked on once, twice, 3 times, and it's still giving you problems? Have you been told it's time to give up the fight on that tooth and have it extracted? Hey, it happens to a lot of us. Dr. Esch performs a multitude of procedures to get that infected tooth out and an implant in. All of Dr. Esch's implants are digitally guided, which means the surgery takes place on a digital model of your jaw even before your appointment. Digital implant placement is the safest, fastest, most predictable way to turn that problem tooth into a fixed and beautiful solution. Call 617-566-0103 or go online to eschdental.com to find out more and book your appointment. Once again, 617-566-0103 or go online to eashdental.com. All that information in the description section down below. And it'll be the top of the Brookline order coming up here in the top of the 5th. Just 3 innings left for Brookline to try and make something happen. And Elias Brendel trying to make something happen, but he lines it right at the left fielder. Again, good contact, bad placement, as that'll be a quick out number 1.
Yeah, story of today here for Brookline. They've had a lot of chances like that, and Wellesley has capitalized. Only a few errors so far this game for Wellesley, and
now stepping up, second baseman number 2, Hugh Bollinger, takes strike 1 there. Bollinger 1 for 2 so far today with a ground out and a single.
Well, Brookline would love to get Bollinger on base because he loves to steal some bases here for Brookline, as we've seen so far this season. This would be a good one for Brookline.
Skies this one into shallow left. Goggin under it, and he's got it, and that'll be out number 2.
Well, quick here for the Raiders, as they're just trying to not allow anything to happen here for Brookline. And really, that's what's been happening today. Brookline either has a really quick inning or they drag something out and have a really great chance, but just not able to capitalize at the end of the day.
Strike 1 there to the catcher, Felix Hom. Hom so far today, 1 for 2 with a single and a reach on error, and he lifts this one out to right. But once again, it's right at the fielder, as this time it's caught out and right, and Brookline goes down in order in the top of the 5th.
Well, Jesse, I mean, we said it. You and me both. We both said it. They had 2 great innings, great chances, and they came out with nothing. And now they've had a couple straight innings where they've just had nothing. Just right down the order, 3 quick outs, and Wellesley really not having to do much. Easy work for Wellesley on the defensive side. And if you're Wellesley here, this would be a great time to add some more runs, as they only have a one-score lead, Jesse. I mean, anything can happen.
Yeah, that's what's so wild about a pitcher's duel is like if you're the pitcher, you're like, okay, I'm cruising, I'm humming, I'm doing my job. Offense goes out and they get you nothing. You're like, dang it, and then you just have to keep going out there and keep doing your job and give your team the best chance to win. And it's still wild to think that without that balk call, this would be a scoreless game. That's how much of a pitcher's duel this has been, is we're one balk away from double goose eggs on the board.
Well, Jesse, I mean, totally, like you said, really just a great work. Although we haven't really seen, although it might not show, I think Hoffman has done a pretty great job later in these innings as he's been able to control his pitches. And even when those pitches weren't working for him, his teammates backed him up, Jesse, which is the whole point of a team sport.
Yeah.
If one player doesn't play well, your team has to back him up. We've seen Hom done great job controlling anything, not letting anything get behind him. Or if something happens, the Brookline outfield has done a great job controlling it. And that's why they're really in this game, Jesse. I mean, they're down one. And with a chance to have a playoff berth here, you need a big stop here and then a big offensive inning next time they're up.
And indeed, Hoffman, no strikeouts the past 2 innings, but he's only had to face 6 batters as he has worked through pretty efficiently the last 2 innings. Stepping in here is the pitcher, number 14, Max Boehm, as he takes ball 1 to the outside. Another battle between the two pitchers. Oh, wait. Was that signaled a ball or a strike? It was signaled a ball. That was weird. Almost looked like a strike signal, but holds up 2 fingers, 2-0. Now hits one, and that one dropped in fair, right up the left field line. This might be extra bases. Boehm stumbled a bit, but he is going to head down to second and slide in safe with the first extra base hit of the day for either team. A leadoff double for the Wellesley pitcher.
Well, Jesse, even though he is a pitcher, showing how much of a two-way player he is, as he's now had 2 back-to-back impact plays when he's been on the offensive side of the ball. And this, for Brookline here, is another scenario where you really got to get out of this inning with no runs allowed, but with a man in scoring position with no outs. Wellesley definitely looking to capitalize here.
Showing bunt, and it skips away, and a wild pitch is going to allow Boehm to take third. Hoffman trying to pitch around the attempted sac bunt by Jack O'Grady, and it backfires horribly, as now a runner at third with nobody out for the Raiders as they're trying to get that insurance run across.
Well, Jesse, I mean, talk about how great of a day Felix Hom has had, but just one little mistake there puts a man at third. And so close to getting number 2 for the Raiders.
2-0 now, the count to O'Grady. The entire infield pulled in on the grass for Brookline for a potential play at the plate, but another pitch missed by Hoffman. We've seen a few instances of this throughout the game where he sometimes loses control of his stuff. He's, done a pretty good job coming back into it throughout this game, but in a tight spot here. And that one catches the low corner for strike 1.
Well, Jesse, that's really what he's been looking for all day.
3-1 the count to O'Grady. And that one gets away, but Boehm decides to actually hold at third. Surprising decision there not to go, but O'Grady's going to draw the walk. And with runners at the corners and nobody out, up comes the shortstop, number 1, Will Goggin. And it'll be interesting to see how Brookline handles this one here, Nico, because you got a runner at first, so you have the chance for a double play. Do you pull the middle infielders back? Do you keep them up on the grass? It looks like they're going to pull them back, to try and maximize the potential outgets if you get a grounder up the middle. It'll be interesting to see, especially if Wellesley tries to go for the double steal. Oh, they're trying to go for a pickoff, but Boehm retreats back quickly.
Well, Jesse, I think if you're Wellesley here, you're just looking to at least get one home, at least get Boehm home, as that would give a 2-0 lead cushion for Wellesley. And with no outs, I think that's definitely what they're going to be looking at here.
That first pitch, strike one to Goggin. Goggin, his last time up, grounded out to short to end the second inning. Runner is taking off. Oh, they caught him between the bags. They're trying for a decoy play. Rosenblatt keeping an eye, and they are not going to get anybody as in to score on the double steal.
Way to go!
Wellesley handled that one perfectly. Both runners safe, and they're up 2-0.
Well, Jesse, definitely not what Brookline wanted there. They thought they were going to get at least one out there, Jesse, as Rosenblatt runs toward, but just not able to get it to second. And then Boehm gets home, and with a 2-0 lead with no outs here, Wellesley trying to make this game out of reach here for Brookline.
It's a 1-1 count to Goggin, as that one going to miss for ball two. And that's the tough thing about those decoy double steals, because you saw O'Grady started off for second, but then stopped midway. He wanted Brookline's attention focused on him on that play, as Goggin shows bunt, misses, as the pitch also misses for a high ball three. And then that's the tough thing. Rosenblatt trying to trail the runner going to second, but at the same time trying to keep an eye on Boehm over at third, and in the end ended up losing track of both on that play. Boehm pulls it back, and that is ball four. I was confused for a second, but he pulled back in time, and so instead of a sacrifice bunt, it's a second straight walk. And this late in the game, in a game this tight, might be they might go for a call to the bullpen, and it looks like they will. Hoffman is gonna come out, and they're gonna bring in Q Miller in place of Hoffman.
Well, Jesse, I mean, I think that was the right play there. Even though it's only a 1-0 game, Hoffman, a lot of his 2-0, as they got the other one in, a lot of his pitches has just been out of control, and with the lead, with Wellesley with the lead trying to pull away here, I think putting Q Miller out here is definitely going to be the right play. As we saw, Q Miller had an amazing performance against Braintree. Number 5 ranked Braintree got the 4-2 win for Brookline. Definitely a huge one for Brookline. And I think Q Miller will try and get Brookline out of this inning and allow their offense to have a chance to do something.
Q Miller's stats on the screen here. 8 previous pitching appearances. One of them was that start against Braintree. Strong performance there, like you said, Nico. A 2-0 win-loss record. 1 save as a reliever. 18 innings pitched, a 2.72 ERA, a 1.72 whip, and 18 strikeouts. Right now, Eli Hoffman would be the pitcher on credit for the loss, as he's going to stay in the field so he can stay in the batting order. He's going to take over for his older brother, Owen Hoffman, out in left field so that he can still provide his bat when his turn comes around, which it will, well, it might come around next inning, but they would need to get at least one runner on, as it'll be the 4, 5, 6 hitters for Brookline when it's their turn at the plate in the top of the 6th. But first, Miller is going to have to get out of a bit of a jam here. Runners at first and second, nobody out, and his team already trailing 2-0.
Yeah, Jesse, see if Q Miller can take something out of Nikolai Rabiner's playbook here, as we know how much of a threat he is when he's put in tight scenarios. And this would be a big one here for Q Miller. We saw how big of a performance he had against Braintree, and this would be another one here for the sophomore.
You know, it's funny, when you were saying that, I was like, a page out of Rabiner's book. Rabiner literally hasn't come out of the bullpen all season, but then you were like, oh, it's about getting out of the jam, which is absolutely something that Rabiner's been strong about. And Miller, as a reliever, has been pretty good, I feel like, at minimizing the damage when he comes in a tight spot as a reliever. I haven't kept track of any kind of inherited runner percentage. I'm not keeping track of any of the deeper analytical advanced stats, but we at least got some basic ones as Miller immediately steps off the mound to take a look at second for a potential pickoff. Taking a look at O'Grady there at second, but doesn't make a throw. Cole Defina at the plate shows bunt, pulls back as that'll be a low ball 1.
Yeah, I mean, Jesse, give credit to Wellesley. Today they've just done a great job with the low and high pitches. They've done such a great job with their vision, not swinging anything they don't need, as they've noticed a theme throughout the game. These pitchers, especially with Hoffman, a lot of his pitches would either go really high or really low. So most of the time they've done a great job, which allowed them to get these easy walks.
That one going to be a strike. They are going for that sacrifice bunt. Brookline's got Rosenblatt charging in from first to try and cover that, maybe potentially make a play on the lead runner at third. 1-1 the count to Defina here as Miller steps off the hill briefly, does not throw to second, just keeping an eye on the lead runner, O'Grady there. Defina, his last time up, grounded out to second, still showing bunt, pulls back as that pitch gets away for ball 2. 2-1. And that one way high for ball 3, and boy, Nico, I understand trying to pitch around the bunt, trying to induce some bad contact, but you still can't let it get away from you and possibly allow a bunt, or allow a walk, excuse me.
Well, yeah, and a walk would allow bases loaded for Brookline.
Which it will. Wellesley loads the bases, and between Hoffman and Miller, that is 3 straight walks to load the bags here as we cycle around to the top of the order now with the second baseman, number 2, Will Zalosh. Zalosh 0 for 2 so far today. Grounded out to second, grounded out to third. First pitch, and he fouls it off, strike 1. Brookline's got the entire infield pulled in with a force at home. You know that's where they want to go as soon as they catch any ground balls. That's going to be a high ball 1.
Well, Jesse, I mean, both pitchers so far, I know early for Q Miller here, but just not able to rein in those pitches, finding the strikes. He did right there.
A 1-2 count now to Zalosh as he is finding the zone now that he's not trying to pitch around a bunt or anything like that, just throwing his normal stuff. This one a bouncer, it skips past Rosenblatt into the outfield. This will bring in 2. Rounding third and heading for home is Goggin as Defina trots down to third. 2 runs in on the single for Will Zalosh as Wellesley breaks this game open for a 4-run lead.
Well, Jesse, I mean, they've looked to do that all day, and it finally happens, as it was really just a 1-score lead for a little bit. Then they got 2, and now they add more and just piling on as Brookline not able to do anything on the offensive side to make it a closer game, but the pitching just hasn't been there.
Runner taking off for second. They're going to throw it back to third. Slick move by Felix Hom as he catches Defina at third. He allows Zalosh to steal second, but they finally get the first out of the inning.
Give credit to Hom there. That was a great heads-up play. He's been very big today.
And we got another runner going, throw down to third, and twice in a row, Felix Hom gets the job done as he gets the first 2 outs of the inning by himself, practically.
Well, Jesse, I mean, it looked like this inning was going to get out of control for for Brookline, and Wellesley were just doing such a great job there, but then 2 great heads-up plays for Felix Hom gets 2 quick outs.
Boy, you go from runners at the corners and nobody out to bases empty, 2 outs, all with 2 quick throws by your catcher. And a line out to short is going to end the inning. Nice snag by Jimmy DiPaolo off the liner from Dylan Crean. And that is going to end the 5th inning. Nice plays on the base against the base runners by the Brookline catcher Felix Hom. But that is going to end the 5th inning as Wellesley puts 3 runs on the board, and they go up 4-0, and Brookline has just 2 innings left to try and get that back.
Well, I mean, Jesse, we talk about it. They weren't able to get any other, at least so far, big chances like they had early. But you got to leave that in the past, Jesse. You got to think about where you are right now in the present, as they need some quick runs with, as you said, 2 innings left. They need something here.
It'll be the 4, 5, 6 hitters coming up to face Boehm, DiPaolo, Rosenblatt, and Hafner. And I mean, that's the thing. It gets tighter and tighter, but also the pitcher's arm is going to get more and more tired. So it's a sort of a trade-off of the guy being more in his rhythm versus being more exhausted. We saw Eli Hoffman kind of run out of gas in the bottom of the 5th there. Can Boehm go the distance? You mentioned, Nico, how he's gone the full 7 innings twice already this season. 2 complete game shutouts, and he's 2 innings away from doing it again today.
Well, totally, Jesse. And give credit to him. He's basically, Jesse, allowed a pretty long inning where he's had a couple men on base but able to escape, or just a really quick one, 3 straight hitters, 3 straight outs. And that might allow him to go the distance here, but Jesse, he's really proving why he's Wellesley's #1. He's been so pivotal here for Wellesley, put in so many positions where you've had at least 1 or 2, 3 men on base, and he's got out of that allowing no runs.
At the plate is the shortstop, #5, Jimmy DiPaolo, facing a 2-1 count here. DiPaolo, so far today, he is grounded out to first and grounded into a fielder's choice at short. Takes strike 2 there, 2-2 the count. Looking for his first hit. And that one's going to just barely miss. 3-2. Now the count to DiPaolo.
Yeah, DiPaolo would really like to get something going, as we know how big of a threat he is for Brookline.
Hits a bouncer, chased down, but stumbling is the second baseman and barely gets the throw away. Boy, almost a bit of a circus play there, as the second baseman, Zalosh, was falling over, and it looks like maybe DiPaolo would be able to take advantage of some bad footing out there, but Zalosh, give him credit, got the throw away and gets the 4-3 ground out for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, as he was trying to go for that, I think he almost basically rolled his ankle and just started falling, but didn't give up on that one. Got the out at first there. A big play there from Zalosh.
Now at the plate, the first baseman, #18, Adam Rosenblatt, currently facing a 1-1 count. So far today, Rosenblatt 0 for 2, a line out to short and a strikeout as he takes ball 2 there. Brookline's got 5 outs left to work with in this game. They trail now by 4 after the big inning by Wellesley in the bottom of the 5th. Rosenblatt, good contact, but again right at the shortstop as Goggin makes the jumping grab there for out #2.
Yeah, snagged that one out of the air. Didn't want to allow anything there. Great job, like we've said a couple times so far today. Right place, right time. And like you've said, good contact, just not the right area, the field that you wanted that to be at.
Now batting the designated hitter, #1, Lincoln Hafner, as he takes strike 1 there.
A pretty good day here for Hafner, Jesse.
1 for 2 so far today, a reach on error and a single. Takes strike 2 there, 1-2. Trying to make something happen here with 2 outs in the inning. And that one gonna miss, ball 2, 2-2.
Yeah, I think he thought that one was strike 3 there.
That one low for ball 3. A full count now to Hafner. Each side has had one pitch they disagreed with in this at-bat, so I guess balanced in a way.
Yeah, see if he's able to close it like he's done so far today.
And he does. Strike 3 called on Hafner as again Boehm takes care of business in the top of the 6th, his second straight 1-2-3 inning. We go to the bottom half with Wellesley leading 4-0.
Yeah. And really nothing Brookline could do there. The intent was there for Brookline. They knew what they had to do. They just weren't able to finish there. And now, if Brookline wants any hope, Q Miller's got to step up here.
Has to at least limit the damage if Brookline wants a chance. Still an outside chance. They would need a 4-run rally in the 7th inning just to tie and keep the game going in this one. And even before then, Miller has got to buckle down.
Well, definitely just a big thing is just reining in his pitches. He was able to do it a little bit toward the end of the last inning. But we know he's quite the powerful pitcher. But for Brookline really today, that's going to be the story. Jesse, I don't have the exact number on me right now, but they've just had a multitude of walks that have just...
Let me count those up for you real quick.
Yeah, and it's just really been something that it's an unneeded error for Brookline, as it's just allowed so many chances to be in scoring position.
So far today, well, Eli Hoffman has finished his day. He had 6 walks through 4+ innings of work. Miller had 1 walk after taking over last inning, so 7 total walks from the Brookline pitchers as the first pitch to Cam Lynch, the Wellesley catcher, will be strike 1. And that one catches the corner, strike 2.
Yeah, painted that corner right there. Good from Miller. That's what we know he can do.
Gets a foul ball there. Count remains 0-2. Lynch, his last time up, drew a walk, but then his courtesy runner was caught stealing third. As a timeout called here. Before that, Lynch grounded into a double play, and here a hit-by pitch. Tough break for Miller as he had an 0-2 count, but then beans Lynch there as Wellesley gets a leadoff runner, and they send number 5 back out there as the courtesy runner.
Yeah, I mean, just, again, Jesse, just unneeded for Brookline, allowing another free guy to get on base. Miller, this
one lifted out to right by Chase Murphy, and chasing after it is Wally Lawrence, and he rifles one looking for first, and he misses badly, as now number 5 is going to head down to second, taking advantage of the throwing error.
Well, Wally Lawrence out there really just tried to gun that, but went over Rosenblatt's head, then went over Hom's head. Hom had to chase that one down, but again, allows another guy to get on second in scoring position here for Wellesley, as they're just trying to add on even more runs.
Now batting the right fielder, number 18, Will Webster, 1 out, runner at second. That one in the zone, strike one.
Yeah, nice pitch from Miller. Both Q Miller and Eli Hoffman, that's what they've really just been trying to do today. Although it hasn't been working, Q Miller done a good job now controlling his pitches.
Webster so far today 0 for 1 with a walk, a run scored, and a fly out to left. Now facing an 0-2 count with one down here in the bottom of the sixth. Slices that one, foul and out of play.
Yeah, good idea there from Webster. Just a little, wasn't right there, fouled it. But Miller getting his pitches into a good position, Jesse. Although isn't going in his favor.
This one lifted out to center. Chin is tracking it, and he's got it for out number 2. So 2 down in the inning. As up comes the pitcher, number 14, Max Boehm.
Yeah, Jesse, got to give credit to him today. Not just on the pitching side, but the offensive side, Jesse. He's had a great day.
Indeed, his last time up hit an RBI double and then scored on a double steal. Or not an RBI, he hit a leadoff double, excuse me, and then came in to score on the double steal. Before that, hit into a fielder's choice in left. So an interesting day at the plate for sure. 1 for 2 with a double, a steal, and a run scored. As he lifts another shot, this one going deep out to center. Chin on his horse. It's over. It's off the wall. That'll bring in a run. Number 5 in to score as Boehm with his second double of the game.
Well, Jesse, I mean, talk about a day on the offense and defensive side. Just like I said, it gets another one home, but got to give credit Devin Chin. He was right there.
He put his body on the line for that one. Thankfully, that fence out there is not harder than it is, as he crashed right into it. But now a 5-0 lead for Wellesley. Still 2 out as up comes Jack O'Grady, the center fielder. He takes strike 1 there. That one comes in over his head for ball 1.
Well, Jesse, if this game does look like how it's going to be, a possible shutout here for Wellesley. If it is a shutout, this will be Wellesley's, I believe, 4th shutout of the year, possibly 5th. I might be wrong on that. But this will be the lowest amount of runs they've had, which is crazy. I mean, all the shutouts they've had has had a minimum of 8 runs, which just shows
when they're on their game, they dominate.
Definitely, Jesse. And one of those games coming against Newton North, where they won 9-0, a team that Brookline lost 7-0 to earlier in the year, Brookline's rival. So just showing, like you said, when Wellesley's on their game, they're on their game.
3-1, the count to O'Grady, and that one's going to skip in the dirt for ball 4 as O'Grady gets his second walk of the day. Runners at first and second now for the Raiders as up comes the shortstop, number 1, Will Goggin.
Yeah, Jesse, you would just like to not allow any more runs here. If you're Q Miller with 2 outs here, you'd like to just get out of this inning, Jesse.
Goggin 0 for 1 so far today with a ground out and a walk as he takes that first pitch low for ball 1.
Yeah, Goggin, good vision, not reaching on anything there, as the walks have been working for Wellesley, not trying to force anything.
1-0 the count. Boehm at second, O'Grady at first, and that time he goes high. Ball 2. And it's going to be a timeout and a meeting at the mound as Miller is starting to lose some control there, giving up the walk to O'Grady. He's only, and now throwing 2 straight balls to Goggin to start. That's 6 balls out of his last 7 pitches. And you go from missing low to missing high. It feels like you're missing everything.
Yeah, I mean, totally, Jesse. And that's been the story of today here for Brookline, as they've just allowed the balls, which has turned into walks, which has turned into unneeded scores and runs for Wellesley. And Wellesley's done such a great job, Jesse. They haven't forced anything really. After I'd say about the first or second inning, they really saw that that's really what was going for Brookline. And until Brookline changed anything, that's been working for Brookline, or excuse me, that's been working for Wellesley, not swinging at anything, and being in almost the last inning. It's working well for them.
They try the pickoff at first, no dice, but Miller does find the strike zone. And Nico, we talk about the problem with walks. On the subject of hits, Wellesley had 0 hits through the first 4 innings and only has 3 hits all game today. 2 of them are the doubles by Max Boehm.
We'll talk about a two-way player, Jesse.
I'm talking more about how well Brookline was pitching outside of those walks, because Eli Hoffman had a no-hitter until that blow-up inning in the 5th. And this one, a grounder, gets past a diving Brendel into left. A bit of a slow roller, so Boehm going to hold at third, but a 2-out single for Goggin.
Well, Jesse, you do actually bring up a great point. I wasn't thinking about that. And it goes to show that there are still some positives, you could say, today. And again, Jesse, both these pitchers, Q Miller and Eli Hoffman, both are sophomores. So they have a bunch of time to learn, Jesse. And I think both of these pitchers have had some downs, but they've also had some positives that you have to look at, Jesse. And I think really that's been the story of the game today.
And that's a wild pitch there. And another mistake there for Brookline as Boehm trots home easily. Run number 6 for Wellesley. And Nico, I feel like part of what this game illustrates is how you can get off to such a great start pitching, but then all it can take is really, 1 or 2 bad innings for things to kind of go off the rails, as Brookline had held Wellesley to 1 run and no hits through the first 4. As they're going to go for the throw to first, it's complete there. The 5-3 ground out by Cole Defina ends the bottom of the 6th, but Brookline down to their final chance here, and they are trailing by 6 going into the 7th and final inning.
Yeah, I mean, Jesse, if you were to bring any positive out for the offensive side, you would like to get a little momentum here. I mean, maybe get a possible run or 2. But I think, Jesse, really Brookline, we talked about it early. It wasn't just the pitching that took a little bit to get into their rhythm. It was the offense. They had 2, I'd say.
The offense still hasn't found their rhythm. They're still got a goose egg on the board.
I would say, yeah, you're totally right there. But I would say, I mean, they had 2 innings where I think they ended with 2 on base and bases loaded, and they just weren't able to finish. I mean, you can't let that happen, Jesse. I mean, you're not going to get those chances every game. And who knows where we would be right now if just a couple of those runs worked in Brookline's favor. But, I mean, a lot of that has to come to the fact that it wasn't just they weren't able to connect with the ball. Boehm did a great job.
Absolutely. During this break between the 6th and 7th innings, we'd like to once again thank our sponsor for today, Esch Dental. Esch Dental, right in Coolidge Corner, doesn't just focus on smile rehabilitation. Their real passion is smile preservation. If you are ready for a local, sophisticated, sole ownership dental office to take care of your 6-month cleanings, no need to look any further than Esch Dental. Call 617-566-0103 or go online to eschdental.com to find out more and book your appointment. Once again, 617-566-0103 or go online to eashdental.com. All that information in the description section down below. Leading off for Brookline here on the top of the 7th is the now left fielder, number 4, Eli Hoffman. After that pitch, it's now a 1-1 count to Hoffman. Brookline trying to at least avoid the shutout. Max Boehm trying to finish a complete game. Goose egg here as Hoffman lifts one nicely into the left field corner, blocked a bit by the fence, but drops in fair territory as Eli Hoffman starts us off with a leadoff double.
Well, nice there for Hoffman. Talk about both pitchers having a pretty solid day on the offensive side. And showing right there, Boehm 2 doubles today. Hoffman get a double there.
Every extra base hit today has been hit by a starting pitcher. I hadn't thought about that, but that's a good observation. Now strike one here to the right fielder, number 19, Wally Lawrence. Lawrence so far today takes strike two there as he finds himself falling behind. He grounded out to second his first time up. His second time up went down on strikes. And now back up against it, 0-2. Checks his swing there as that one bounces in the dirt. Well blocked by Cam Lynch to keep Hoffman at second.
Yeah, Jesse, both pitchers having a great day today.
Well, certainly much better for Max Boehm, as that one also going to miss for ball two. As I think you can say that Eli Hoffman had a good first 4 innings. You know, the problem with being a pitcher is to have a good full day. All of your innings that you're in have to be good ones. Oh, that one catches the inside corner. Lawrence cannot believe it, as he is chirping a bit at the ump, walking back to the dugout. He's got to be careful there. He thought that one was inside, but he goes down on strikes. One down here, as the ump also having a discussion with Coach O'Connor, looked like. Again, I know frustration mounting. I know it's been a tough day for Brookline. Kept things close and weren't able to, get on the board before things got away from you. Had a tough day logistically, couldn't get here on time because of the bus. A lot of little frustrations building over, but you can't let that boil over. Got to maintain your cool all the way to the end of the day. Now stepping in, the center fielder, number 3, Devin Shin, shows bunt, pulls back. That one in the zone for strike one as Hoffman retreats back to second.
Well, Jesse, a lot of the time today, when Wellesley's been on offense and they've been showing bunt, it's really resulted in balls as they've just been trying to feed it around. But Boehm did a great job there.
As Chin fouls that one off, that'll be strike 2. And this one hits a bouncer over to third, fielded by Murphy. Struggled on the exchange, and he does not get him in time. Devin Chin, the speedster, that's his signature type play there. And Murphy, in a rush, just kind of juggled it on the exchange, looked like.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it was almost there, just a little late. But talk about it, Jesse. Again, almost every game you see Devin Chin make a play like that, where he's just able to get to first or wherever it may be on the base.
And whoops, pick off, and just not in time. Wellesley thought they were going to get something slick there. Boehm took a look at Hoffman over at third, but Chin was thinking steal, and so he almost got caught skittering back to the bag, but gets back safe. Another fake from Boehm. And this time, nobody biting on it.
Well, I think Brookline expects it now. That's really only a play you can use maybe once a game.
Now the pitch in there for strike one to Elias Brendel, up with runners at the corners and one out. And you're right, only a play you can really do once before you lose the element of surprise. But they're still going to try and keep the runners honest as Boehm throws back to first, check on Chin. With runners at the corners, Brookline certainly considering the possibility of sending Chin to second. He's going to take off. Brendel chases that one low. It'll be strike 2, but Chin is going to take second on the steal there. So now 2 in scoring position. Brookline not backing down here in the final inning. 2 in scoring position here as Brendel hits a shot, and it went off the ump. That one went off the ump. A freakish play there, as that does bring in Hoffman. I'm not entirely sure how you score that on a box score. I think you score it as a single, but I have no idea. That is wild.
Yeah, I mean, just skipped a little bit and hit him, but I think he's all right, Jesse.
Yeah, looks like he's okay. And wait, what's going on? Why is...
I think he might be complaining.
Oh, they're sending Chin back to second.
Yep.
Wait, are they sending Hoffman back to third as well?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So, they're saying, here's what they're saying. Here's what I think they're saying. I'm going to make my best guess here, folks. Bear with me. I think what they're saying is that once the ball hit the ump, the play was dead. And the runner had not crossed home plate at the point that it hit the ump. So because the play was dead, everyone had to stop where they were. And so all the runners going back to the bases. Brendel does take first. Hoffman back to third, Chin back to second. Frustrating for Brookline, but I think that's the right call there when the ball hits the ump. And I mean, frankly, if it hadn't hit him, it probably would have turned into a ground out there for Brookline. So if nothing else, they do get the bases loaded. And now stepping up, the second baseman, number 2, Hugh Bollinger. First pitch in there, strike 1. Oops, got to correct my scoreboard there. It is still 6-0. Brookline still looking for their first run.
Yeah, Bollinger, guy you want in this position here. I know it's late in the game, Jesse, but...
And certainly he wants to put something in play here now with his back against the wall. 0-2 the count. Swing and a miss. Boehm blows it by him. And that is the second out. And now Brookline down to their last chance. Bases loaded, 2 down. Up comes the catcher, number 8, Felix Hom.
Hom just looking to get something here, not...
He'll take strike 1 there. Hom so far today 1 for 3. He's reached on an error, singled, and flown out to right. That one in the zone, strike 2. Max Boehm feeling it right now. Bringing the heat, trying to end this ball game and trying to finish the complete game shutout. Swing and a miss, and there it is. Max Boehm, with a little bit of help from the interference call, ends another complete game shutout, I believe his 3rd of this season. And the final score here at Sprague Field, the Wellesley High Raiders 6, the Brookline High Warriors 0. And that's got to be tough for Brookline. You managed to load the bases with 1 out. It seemed like you had a freak play to get your first run on the board, and then it gets undone, and then you end up with nothing. Tough loss.
Totally, Jesse. And I mean, second time it happened today. This time with 1 out, a better scenario. Brookline just not able to get anything going, and that was the story of today, Jesse. They were put in a great scenario, no runs.
Absolutely. It was a tough day for Brookline in terms of stranding runners. Got 1 runner on first in the first inning. Got the bases loaded in the second. In the third, they had 2 runners on with nobody out, and 1 got picked off, and then nothing else. In the third, they got 1 runner on first, no dice. The 5th and the 6th, they just went down in order. And then the 7th inning, bases loaded with 1 out and nothing doing. So Brookline had some opportunities but could not capitalize today, as Max Boehm dealing for this Wellesley team as they get payback for Brookline's earlier win this season, and they get the shutout win. Wellesley improves to 11-5 on the season. Brookline falls to 9-7. Brookline will still have a few more chances to get that 10th win that they need to clinch an automatic playoff berth. And their first chance will be on Monday, I believe, as Brookline will next be playing at Newton North, hoping to pay back the 7-0 loss they suffered to the Tigers earlier in the season. Brookline's actually going to have 4 games in the last week of the season on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, as one of them is a makeup game at Malton Catholic. I'm not going to be at all of those games, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be at Monday's game. I'm just going to check my schedule real quick for you guys fans, as it's a chaotic sort of thing. But no, actually, I'm only going to be at the. Wait, did they? Oh my gosh! I think they moved the baseball game. They moved the Framingham game from Wednesday to Tuesday. I was scheduled to cover that game on Wednesday, but I think it got moved to Tuesday because of the makeup game at Malton Catholic. So I might not be covering anything next week. Oh, that's a massive bummer. We'll try and figure some things out, but this might be my last game of the regular season for this team, and if it is, then I'm hoping that I'll be seeing you guys for the playoffs. If nothing else, that's a surprise to see. But for now, we're going to put a wrap on this one. Thank you all so much for tuning in today, and thank you to our sponsor for today, Esh Dental. The team at Esh Dental understands dental anxiety. Some patients just need a friendly face to put them at ease. Others need the help of additional gases or medications. Dr. Esh and his team can help you wherever you are on the journey to find a solution to manage your anxiety. Call 617-566-0103 or go online to eshdental.com to find out more and book your appointment. Excuse me. Once again, 617-566-0103 or go online to eashdental.com. You can find that link and phone number in the description section down below, where you can also find a link where you can donate to the Brookline High Baseball Booster Club. And you can also find a link and phone number for our local charity spotlight, the Brookline Food Pantry. And you can also find some links related to me that you can also find in the bottom right corner of your screen there. My personal website, jessesports.com, where you can find out more about me, the freelance sports broadcasting services that I provide to various teams, and how you can commission those services for your favorite team. Or if you want to skip past all that, you can email me directly with any questions, requests, or comments that you may have. And don't forget to follow me on social media, on Instagram and Facebook, where I post highlights from previous live streams. But for this live stream, that's going to do it. Final score, Wellesley 6, Brookline 0. From Sprague Field in Wellesley, Massachusetts, alongside Nico Wise, I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Thank you all for watching, and have a good night.